This free plant replaces chicken feed forever. And honestly, almost nobody talks about it. Feed costs are quietly killing backyard poultry dreams. One week your chickens are thriving, and the next you're staring at empty feed bags, wondering how something so simple became so expensive. But what if the solution isn't in a bag at all? What if it's a fast-growing, self-replicating plant that can slash your feed bill to nearly zero, and just keeps growing endlessly with almost no effort? Let's get straight into it. The plant that feeds itself and your chickens. Duckweed is, honestly, one of the most underrated plants in the gardening world, yet it's also one of the most powerful. This tiny floating plant grows on water surfaces and multiplies at a shocking rate. Under the right conditions, it can double its mass in just 24 to 48 hours. That means a small handful can turn into a thick green carpet in just a matter of days. What makes duckweed so valuable is its nutritional profile. It contains up to 40% protein when grown properly, which honestly rivals commercial chicken feed. It's also rich in essential amino acids, vitamins, and minerals that chickens need for egg production and overall health. This isn't just a supplement. In many cases, duckweed can replace a large portion of commercial feed entirely. So, duckweed isn't truly hidden, but it's massively overlooked. Industrial agriculture depends on processed feeds made from corn and soy, which are, profitable to produce and sell. A plant that grows freely, requires minimal input, and can be harvested daily just doesn't fit into that system. But for backyard gardeners and small-scale farmers, duckweed is honestly a game changer. Once you understand how to grow it, you're essentially creating a self-sustaining food system for your chickens. Duckweed thrives in still or slow-moving water. You really don't need a fancy setup. A simple container like a plastic tub, old bathtub, pond liner, or even a shallow pit lined with plastic will work perfectly. Just fill your container with water to a depth of about 15 to 30 centimeters. Rainwater is ideal, but tap water works too if you let it sit for 24 hours to allow the chlorine to dissipate. Duckweed feeds on nutrients in the water, so you need to enrich it slightly. This is actually where many people go wrong. Too little nutrition and it won't grow fast. Too much and you risk contamination. A simple, effective nutrient solution can be made using animal manure. Just mix 1 kilogram of well-aged chicken manure or cow manure into 20 liters of water. Stir thoroughly and let it sit for 24 hours. Then strain the liquid and add about 1 liter of this nutrient-rich solution into every 10 liters of your duckweed water. This creates the perfect environment for explosive growth without overwhelming the system. Place your setup in a spot with partial sunlight. Duckweed loves light but doesn't do well in extreme, scorching heat. Aim for 4 to 6 hours of sunlight daily. One of the biggest advantages of duckweed is that you never need to replant it. Once established, it becomes a continuous harvest system. As the surface fills with duckweed, simply scoop out about 1/3 of it daily using a fine net or sieve. This keeps the plant in its rapid growth phase and prevents overcrowding. The harvested duckweed can be fed directly to your chickens while it's fresh. They'll eagerly eat it, especially once they get used to it. Over time, they'll start recognizing it as a primary food source. Duckweed can replace a significant portion of commercial feed, but balance is key. Chickens still benefit from a varied diet. As a general guideline, duckweed can make up 30 to 70% of your chicken's daily intake depending on availability and quality. If you're producing large amounts consistently, you can push toward the higher end of that range. You'll notice healthier feathers, brighter yolks, and more active birds when duckweed becomes a regular part of their diet. If you want duckweed to grow forever, You need to maintain water quality. This doesn't mean constant work, just simple consistency. Every week, remove about 20% of the water and replace it with fresh water. Then add a small amount of your manure solution again to keep nutrients balanced. Avoid letting the water become foul-smelling or overly dark. That's a sign of too much organic matter. In that case, dilute with more clean water immediately. Mosquitoes can sometimes become an issue, but interestingly, a dense layer of duckweed often prevents them from breeding because it blocks access to the water surface. Once you see how fast duckweed grows, you'll quickly realize one container isn't enough. The beauty of this system is how easy it is to scale. Take a portion of your duckweed and start a second container, then a third. Within weeks, you can have multiple production units running at once. This creates a continuous cycle where you're harvesting daily without ever running out. At that point, you're no longer supplementing feed, you're producing it. Many beginners fail with duckweed because they either overcomplicate it or neglect small details. Clean water, moderate nutrients, and regular harvesting are the only real requirements. Too much manure will slow growth or kill the plants. Too little sunlight will reduce productivity. Ignoring harvesting will cause the system to stagnate. Keep it simple and consistent, and duckweed will reward you. If you're serious about self-sufficiency, duckweed is one of the easiest wins you can achieve. It turns waste into food, requires almost no space, and produces results faster than most crops you'll ever grow. For the garden life community, this is exactly the kind of system that transforms a backyard into a living, breathing ecosystem. Your chickens feed your duckweed. Your duckweed feeds your chickens. And you sit right in the middle of a perfectly balanced cycle. Once you start, it's hard to go back to relying fully on store-bought feed.